Howdy folks, this is Jared.
And this is Brandon.
And today we are bringing you the review for a very interesting product that was actually leaked out many months ago thanks to some strange mock-up toy commercials that Mattel did. Now these things are called Quick Shots. Explain the gist of Quick Shots, Brandon.
Well, they are small figurines. They're pretty much rubber. And you get a rubberized character and you get a sort of slingshot accessory that you can load them onto. You hook the hands of the rubber figure around the hands of the slingshot figure. You pull it back and then you launch it. And it's actually a very impressive little mechanism. It works very well. I was a little worried that they wouldn't shoot very far, but they're actually quite fun.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can give you guys a better idea of these figures. If they're worth the money, they are $7 a piece, and we'll talk about that in just a moment with our closer look at Quick Shots Superman. Alright folks, now here's our closer look at the Quick Shots Basic Superman that comes with the General Zod launcher. Now, of course, this is the basic Superman costume from the film. This is the one movie accurate Superman that they've done for the Quick Shots line, and as such, it will probably be the one that is purchased the most.
Folks, it's very difficult to talk about these figures compared to other items that are available now or have ever been available because they're not quite like anything out there. The best comparison that we can make is to the Angry Birds, like the Angry Birds Star Wars sets. It's, you know, like an action figure, almost a game toy, you know, a slingshot sort of mechanism for knocking things over. So that's about the closest. But, you know, it's not, the scale is even a difficult thing because these aren't really 3 3/4, they're about 2.5 inches tall. So they're not, again, they're not like anything else that you've got in superhero collectibles right now.
Now, here is a 3 3/4 Batman figure from Rises. And as you can see, Batman is quite a bit taller. So really these things are more of the 2.5 inch range, I would say. Now as we can see, there's some strong stylization going on here. We've got the giant fists, and they're quite huge, and that is a stylization that's actually pretty consistent across some of the kitty items, including like the 10-inch electronic Superman that's at Walmart right now, things like that. The head is pretty small, chest is very large, and the legs are kind of small. Now on the back, we actually have a soft goods cape, which I think is neat. Interestingly enough, the copyright information is actually printed on the inside of the cape, so that's something you don't really see every day.
I guess it would have been impossible to print it on the rubber material, or to have it, you know, sculpted onto the rubber material, so I guess that was their only option. Now, the package boasts that it includes 2 figures, and the reality is what you get is 1 figure and really what amounts to 1 accessory. Now, if you look close, this actually is a sculpted General Zod.
And a quite nice one at that, really. It's a good sculpt.
Nice. But, you know, obviously there's no articulation here. He's static, and he's not painted very well. He's got 2 applications, just a little red dot on each eye. And then, in fact, the back is just hollow. So, you know, it's again, it's a very good sculpt, but not really an action figure. Not in the least bit. In fact, just an oversized accessory. Now, what you use him for is you take Superman. Remember the holes in the hands? And they plug onto these blades that General Zod is holding. You put Superman's hands on there, you pull him back, and then you fire him.
Now, basically we've gotten this thing to shoot quite a good ways. I would estimate that we've probably gotten it to shoot at least 15 feet.
Oh, yeah.
At least, maybe even 20, I think. And depending on how hard you're going to launch them and what kind of chance you're going to take, you know, you could probably get 25 feet if you really tried.
If you took him outside and had a good go at it. But, you know, it works very well. You know, it promises a certain action feature and it actually delivers. There are some concerns, though. You know, this sort of item is not going to last forever. It's made out of a very rubber material. It's not delicate, you know, it's not going to fall apart as soon as you get it out of the package, but I don't think you could stretch it, you know, forever, you know, before it would start breaking down. I'd say within a year, a lot of these are going to be deteriorated.
I think that at the store, all the samples I saw, this was the very best sample I could get. A lot of them had a lot of strange defects, a lot of, you know, paint smudging and things all over the shield. So be on the lookout when you grab these and make sure you're getting the best samples because it is really important. One of the detractors for me is the stylization isn't quite there on Superman. It works great on Zod, and some of the other Supermans even are handled just a tad differently. But to me, it just seems like a tiny little head on this kind of long neck sort of situation. I mean, it's alright. It works sometimes when I see the figure, and other times it just doesn't work at all.
One thing to be genuinely concerned about, if you're going to let kids play with these, they do launch with quite a bit of force. So, really need to keep a good eye on kids. They need to be supervised when they're playing with these, because you could, if you took one of these in the eye or in a delicate area, it could really hurt you. Jared shot one into my stomach just so we could see what it would feel like, and it wasn't really pleasant. So, just be on the lookout for that.
Another thing to note is that Superman himself is not solid. Instead, he's kind of hollow in the head here, and in the interior region, there is kind of a hard piece of plastic just in the middle that kind of keeps the arms together, and the arms are sort of strung through with the rubbery stuff, so that's how it works. There's no articulation in the legs, however they do stretch for the action feature, but that's about it.
Even though this isn't a traditional action figure per se, Superman does have 2 points of articulation. You can move both arms independently up and down, so that's pretty nice. And then the paint application's pretty good. Of course, it can be very difficult to apply paint appropriately to rubber, but the head is actually painted, and the eyes and the hair are painted, and the S-shield's painted on the front, and there's details on the belt buckle and then the boots too, so very nice.
Now, is it worth $7? Probably not. For $7, I would expect to get about 2 of these, actually. Instead, they try to say that, like we said, this is the other figure. I don't quite buy that, but clearly I did buy the set. So something must have worked in their favor.
Yes. And there you have Quick Shots Superman. Really fun toy in general, a lot of good play value. It has one big detractor as far as we're concerned, that the value is simply not there.
Yeah, that's right. For $7, you would expect to actually get 2 of these things, I would think, at least. Unfortunately, even though the box boasts that you get 2 figures, that's not really the case.
Yeah.
You get a launcher slingshot mechanism, like we talked about in the closer look, that you could sort of say this was General Zod, I guess, if you were a kid, but, it's just okay. There's no back to it, so...
Yeah. It's an accessory. It's an oversized accessory. That's all it really is.
With Superman's kind of odd stylization compared to Zod and some of the others in the line. I don't know. It makes it hard to recommend this for $7.
It really is. I think this is a very solid $5 item. That's what I'd be comfortable paying for it. So $7, it's just not hardly there. So I would give it a 2.5 out of 5-star rating.
Definitely. 2.5 out of 5 stars is what we'd give this toy. Alright guys, well, if you all would like to see any of our other Man of Steel reviews, we reviewed a whole bunch of the stuff. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, most of it is uploaded and edited to go.
If it's not, more is on the way, so just be patient, please. Until next time, this has been Brandon.
And this has been Jerry.
Fanboys Forever, signing out.